All right, welcome into another episode number 4 of the GT Sports Pro and College Podcast 2025. As I said, this is episode number 4, and I'm going to come in here shortly just to talk a little bit about sports, what's been going on. Still trying to be able to come out every day, Monday through Friday, take the weekends off for this podcast. It's a podcast where we talk professional in college sports. That includes football, NFL, MLB, NBA, UFC, boxing, anything that has to do with sports, right? So as I expand to more sports, same thing with college. We'll just add softball to college, football, basketball, baseball, all of the great things. Anything that's hitting the headlines, definitely I'll come in and talk about it here on this podcast. I do have a platform right now. It's Facebook. Eventually, we pre-record, and then eventually, as I continue growing this podcast, we'll definitely start going live. Now, I do want to add that we'll be coming into the NFL season shortly here in about a couple of months, about 2 months. To see June, July, August, about late August or so. Well, I don't know when the preseason starts, so maybe about a month and a half or so, a little over a month, we'll say. But I do have a guy that is going to be joining me here on this podcast right around closer to football NFL season. Well, we'll talk football. He's very knowledgeable. We talk a lot every day about sports. So I said, hey, man, why don't you come on the podcast? And I think he's probably talking about starting up his own podcast. So I'm excited about having him join the podcast. We won't only be talking NFL. We'll talk NBA. We'll talk baseball. We'll talk anything that's the headlines. He's game for. So it's going to be real exciting because we agree on some things and we disagree on other stuff. So he's really good. He knows his sports, and looks at his stats. So we see the same stats, but we disagree on certain things. So I think bringing that onto the podcast, but when sometimes we'll agree, and most of the times we disagree, I think will be good. Hopefully that'll stir up some dialogue, some people that'll tune in, spice it up a little bit, get other people involved through the comment sections. Maybe some want to join the podcast and talk sports. We'll hit some really tough topics, man, because I'll tell you, when we talk, we hit some pretty tough uh, topics. I mean, I'm talking about history, not only what's happening today in sports, but we'll go back history. He was from out of state, didn't go to high school here, but he's really knowledgeable with a lot of players. He played ball when he was up in high school, so he has a lot of knowledge. But to have him here, to have another sports mind come on this podcast and be able to share his knowledge and really hit some topics about Hall of Fame. We talk about the Hall of Fame, talk about players that we think should be in, shouldn't be in. We'll talk history, so we'll go back to the 80s and some of the ball players back in the 80s. I mean, we have great sports conversations throughout the day. So to be able to bring him on and share some of that, some of those conversations, and hit some history and in today's topics would be great. There's certain players he likes that I'm not too fond of. There's certain players that I like that he's not too fond of teams. So it's going to be, I think it's going to be a good podcast when he comes on. There's really no time limit. We'll just hit some topics and let the conversation take us where it takes us. So hopefully people will tune in to what we're talking about. Hopefully they'll all not just listen, but chime in and give us their thoughts as well. That is what we're going to be doing. So that's coming up here soon. I know it'll be before the football season, but I'll definitely keep you guys informed of the gentleman that's going to be coming on here, and we're going to stir the pot, man. We're going to be talking a lot. It's going to be great if we bring conversations that we have throughout the day when we talk sports onto the podcast, man. It's going to be really good. So I'm excited about having them come on and debate a lot of the stuff that's going on. So that's NBA, That's NFL. Like he said, man, sports is sports, man. We'll talk about it. We'll just kind of throw a topic out there and just let it take us. And usually it takes it into another conversation. So that's basically what we're going to do. So I'm definitely excited about having him come on this podcast right here to join me and to talk professional and college sports. So for today, I'll just kind of jump in here a little bit. The biggest game, NBA, man. NBA Finals game number 6, right? So I had Indiana. I picked them to win. So we're at game 6 now. Indiana has their backs against the wall here tonight. I thought going back, game 4 was the critical game for me when they were up 2-1, playing at home. I thought that was a game that Indiana needed to win because if they were to get that win, they'd go 3-1. I didn't think Oklahoma City, even having 2 out of 3 at home, I didn't think they could beat Indiana 3 straight games. So to me, when I broke that series down and they were up 2-1 going into game 4, I said, man, if Indiana needs to have this, I mean, if they lose, they're not out. But I thought that the advantage would go back to OKC, and that's a young team. And I thought, man, they got to get this win here 3-1, and then it's theirs. They were unable to win that game 4 at home, which then set it up at 2-2. And people were like, dude, it's not even over. But I felt the momentum had switched. I thought it had gone back, the advantage to OKC. And I said, man, I think it's going to be hard for Indiana to now win the series, tied 2-2. So they go to game 5. Really, it was all OKC. They did make a comeback like they usually do, but this time around, they couldn't get the game. So they go down 3-2. This is a must-win now for them because if they lose tonight, they're out. But the bigger news is Tyrese Halliburton, who got injured, and we've been keeping a close eye, or at least I have been keeping a close eye. Will he play tonight? Will he not play tonight? Listen, my opinion, I've heard a lot of, because I listen to the talk shows throughout the day when I get an opportunity, and even when I get home. And if you're not 100%, should you play? Should you not play? Growing up, I saw Isaiah Thomas for the Detroit Pistons play basically on one leg. I think it was against the Lakers, and put a dominating performance, I should say, in that game. Michael Jordan had the flu, no injury, but flu, and still played with the game. So it's not like stars haven't played when they've been injured. But I think in this case, if the injury can make it worse, like if you play and they say, look, it can't be any worse, right? Like you can't make it any worse than what it is now. Then I play because I may not be able to give 100%, but if I know that I cannot do further damage than what I have now by playing, then yes, I'll give it a shot. But if there's any chance that I can do more damage by going out there than what I have now, then I'm not taking that chance. And I know people will say, well, look, it's a finals. You're not guaranteed that you'll ever get back there. Nothing's guaranteed in this world. Nothing. So you don't know. But I think if they told me, and a competitor is going to want to play, like a competitor in sports is never going to say, I don't want to play. I mean, even in high school, college, pro sports, if you can play, you want to go. It's the coach that has to make that decision and what's in the best interest of the player and the team. So if I know that, he can get hurt, it can get worse by playing, and he's not playing. I mean, it's as simple as that, because, you could play and still lose and damage. I think it's a calf injury. So it just depends on what the trainers, doctors tell me. But if there's a chance that I can make it worse, I'm not playing. Plus, at home with the energy of the fans, I think Indiana can win this game without Tyrese Halliburton. I know that's probably a crazy thing to say, but listen, he really hasn't dominated the game like SGA has, where he scored like 40 something points, right? Pascal Siakam is a stud. He's a star, man. He can put this team on his back and score 35 plus may need to do that. Plus, their role players are pretty good, and they got one of the best, if not the best, one of, if not the best, bench players in the league. So um, I think they can still beat Oklahoma City without Tyrese Halliburton in this game. You know, they'll pick up that energy. Role players play a lot better at home. They got great role players, bench players. So they've got enough, I think, that can step up tonight. Everyone needs to step up. Even if Halliburton's playing, everyone needs to step up and leave it all on the line, because if you lose tonight, you're out. Season's over, right? So we'll see if Halliburton plays. Like I said, I think the decision has already been made. They're just not going to tell you until game time. But I don't think he plays, because looking at him in game five, now he's had 2 days to rest, so it might have gotten a little better. But again, for me, as a fan or as a coach, if I was right, if I know that I can make it worse, and then it's no. But of course, the player's not going to say no. He wants to go out there and play and compete and help his team win. It's got to be the coach that stands in and says they don't care what you want, right? Like you're not going to get, like we're not going to have you injure yourself. Look what Damian Lillard's going through. Look what Jason Tatum is going through. So there's no way you take that chance. Now, if it's look, it can't get any worse, right? Like it just got to heal. Then if I can go, I go. So, but I think he's not going to play tonight. But I still think that Indiana can win tonight. I think they're going to leave it all out on the field, on the court, I should say. And I think it's going to be a good one, but I think they can win tonight. I have to say that because I picked Indiana to win. So I think they do and can win this game, but I don't think they win the series. I mean, I think, like I said, once they lost game four, I think the momentum shifted back to OKC, and then they won game five. I just can't see, especially now with Halliburton not healthy and possibly won't be healthy for the next two games, right? Should Indiana win this game, I think they lose it in OKC in game seven. So I'm going to stick with Indiana. That was my team, but I don't, I think it's all OKC. I think they will be crowned the next NBA champions. But again, you never know, but that's just what I think. So definitely game six is tonight. I'll definitely be tuning in. I've got a couple of monitors here. So as I do my work with sports, I'll definitely be paying attention to the NBA and hope that my Indiana Pacers, I say mine because I picked them to win. Hopefully they can win this game. And I do hope there is a game seven. So we'll see what happens. That's the news I have now for the NBA. Let's go to the MLB. My team, the Houston Astros. I've been telling you guys, I'm a Texas guy, right? So when the Texas Rangers are playing anybody else outside of Houston, I'm definitely rooting for the Rangers. But between those two Texas baseball professional teams, I definitely love the Houston Astros. Been an Astros fan since I was a kid. So been kind of keeping up with them now for the last 2 weeks, every game. You know, when they first started, of course, Bregman leaves, Verlander leaves. So I'm looking at this team and I'm thinking, wow, we're going to struggle this year, right? All these injuries that we had last year, a lot of our pitchers still not playing. Jordan Alvarez not in the lineup. Kyle Tucker and Bregman are gone. I'm thinking, wow, this is really going to look different, right? So I think we're really going to struggle. That has not been the case, even with all the injuries and Tucker leaving and Bregman leaving. These guys that are playing now, even with all of the injuries to our pitching staff, man, we are playing really good here, especially as of late. Framber Valdez got the big win there in a 4-game series with the Oakland Athletics. Tonight is game number 4, the final game. So they lost game 1, I think it was 3-1, I think I saw, and then game 2 and last night game 3 they won big. The offense has just come alive. The Astros are playing good, considering that all of the injuries to our pitchers. So Lance McCullers now also goes in, I think 15-day. I think I saw on the injury list. Jordan Alvarez still not back. With all that being said, and Houston nowhere near being healthy with everyone on the team, they're playing great. And I think they're in first place by about at least 4.5, 5 games. I think I saw 2 days ago. So somewhere around there. So definitely exceeding expectations, my expectations. So I'm excited at the way we're playing now, leading the division. knowing that we still need to get a lot of players healthy. What would happen when some of our pitchers come back healthy? Hopefully, we'll get them sometime during the season. Jordan Alvarez comes back and gets rolling. The way these guys that are playing now have been hitting that bottom of the lineup, Mauricio Dubon, Cam Smith, Christian Walker. Our pitching's been good. Our offense has been great. If they can keep it going, man, I see us making some noise um, the rest of the way and even into the playoffs. So I'm excited because of the way we're playing, but also because I know we're not at full strength. What will this team and how much better can this team get when we are at full strength is what excites me. So here on this podcast, when I come on, definitely going to be talking a lot of Houston Astros, giving you my opinion on what I think. And then also we're going to be talking some Texas Rangers as well, and other teams as well. The Yankees definitely. I'm not a Yankee fan, but you know they're in a slump right now, man. They cannot win a game here the last couple of games. So I don't know where they're sitting at. I think they're still in first place, but definitely they're in a little bit of a slump. But you know, people always get happy. Those people that don't like the Yankees, but this happens to them every year, man. They kind of get hot and then they cool off and they go into this slump where they don't win, but then they're gonna pull out. They always do, right? They don't stay there. So we know at some point the Yankees are gonna continue. They got too many good hitters, right, to continue this way. It's a slump that most teams go through, but I can almost tell you the Yankees, they'll be back. They'll get out of this slump and then they'll start winning again. They'll start hitting those home runs again. And people, so don't get too excited when they kind of struggle because they're going to work their way out of it and then they're going to start hitting balls out of the ballpark. So I expect the Yankees to be the Yankees and get back on track here. And then they'll definitely be contending. And if they get into the playoffs, like when the Yankees, whether you like them or not, when they're in the playoffs, it makes baseball better, right? Like you want to see them. I'm not a Yankee fan, like I said, but I love seeing them in the playoffs because it just makes it better, right? When you see them, you see the Red Sox, you see those teams in the playoffs. For me, even though I'm not a fan of either one, right? I love seeing them in the playoffs because I love the competition. So when the Yankees and the Red Sox are not in the playoffs, it takes a little bit of the favor out. But definitely love to see them and love for other teams to beat them. But I expect both of those teams to make a run here. Hopefully they'll be in the playoffs. Hopefully my Astros will be in the playoffs. Like I said, they're looking good now, so I'm happy at the way they're playing, and hopefully we'll get some of our players start to get healthy, getting back into the lineup, and to see how good this team can be when we are at full strength. So again, we'll continue to talk about the Astros, but I'm happy to report that they're doing good as of now. So let's now jump over to the WNBA. So the WNBA, we do a lot of talking with some people at work with the WNBA. So let me just kind of tell you a little story about the WNBA. So it's been around for a while. So when the WNBA first started, I started watching it, right? I was a Houston Comet fan, watching Cheryl Swoops and Cynthia Cooper and Tina Thompson and those girls do their thing, right? So Houston won the first couple of championships when the league opened. So I was definitely watching every night. I was a big time Houston Comet fan, especially watching those ladies play. And then, of course, when they weren't winning championships and Swoops kind of left and Tina, I think was the last one, if I remember correctly, but when Cynthia Cooper finally called it quits and retired, when those girls left, I kind of stopped watching it. I would just kind of tune in here and there again, but really wouldn't watch a full game. I'm just going to be honest. Till Caitlin Clark came. So a lot of people say, the ratings are up and, now people are watching because of Caitlin Clark. That's me. I'm one of those, right? I started hearing about Caitlin Clark, started watching her game. I love her game. I'm a fan. So I watched her in college and then followed her all the way into the WNBA in season number 2. So being a Caitlin Clark fan and wanting to watch her play, like I'll watch her play tonight. I think she plays tonight. I think I have it on my calendar here where it let me know this morning that I needed to watch that game. I think I'm telling you that correctly. Watching her now I get to know some of the other players that are on the Indiana Fever, right? So I didn't really know them, but watching them now, I look at the stats, I read the recap, so I get to know other players that are on this team. So what it's doing, what I'm saying is just being a Caitlin Clark fan now allows me to see her teammates, not just her, but now I get to see the talent that's on this team outside of Caitlin Clark, right? And then eventually it's going to let me, start seeing other good players that are in the WNBA, watching them play, right? So because whoever they're playing Indiana, I'm watching the other team as well. So as I root for Caitlin Clark and her team, I also get to see the talent that the opposing team has. So eventually, I'm going to become a bigger WNBA fan because I'm going to be able to watch other teams that they play that Indiana plays and get to kind of see, hey, I like the way she plays. I like the talent here. So then I'll start following and watching those teams as well. So I think eventually I'm going to get right back into the WNBA and watching them play. The physicality that they do with Caitlin Clark and all this trash talking and all this, I don't like this player and this player makes it more interesting, right? Makes me want to sit there. Okay, what am I going to see tonight? What are they going to do when they play against Caitlin Clark the next go around? I definitely want to see. So I like the physicality. I like the trash talking. That's part of basketball, but not to the point where someone could get hurt. So I was watching something the other day where a sports writer on Sports Center, I think, was saying, or on one of those morning shows where they were saying that Caitlin Clark has a target on her back. I would agree. She definitely does have a target on her back. But I don't mind hyping yourself up to play. I mean, if I was playing against her, if I was a female and I was playing against her, I would relish let me play against her, right? Because I want to make a name for myself. What better way to do that than to beat the girl or show that I can beat her or play with her when I get that opportunity. So I don't mind the trash talking, the finger pointing, or whatever you're gonna do, right? That's always been part of the game. I played basketball. There was always trash talking. I did it. Other people did it to me. So it's part of the game. The physicality is part of the game. But when you get frustrated and you intentionally try to hurt somebody, that's where I think the referees need to get in and protect the players. Look, if you don't like Caitlin Clark, beat her on the court if you can, right? Don't get too frustrated where look, she's showing me off. Now I'm gonna get frustrated. I'm gonna try to take her out. And that's just not for Caitlin Clark, but that's for any athlete, right? Like there's no room for that, right? These girls put a lot of time. It's how they support their families, whether you're in the NBA or the WNBA. So anyone purposely trying to take someone out to hurt them, I don't go for that. So I like the physicality. I like the trash talking. It just pumps me up to want to watch it when they play again the next go around. So I'm definitely tuning in. It's always been part of the game. But look, if you're gonna bump her, like in one of the games I was seeing a couple of nights ago, where she got poked in the eye. I really never looked at the play outside of when it was live. Was it purposely done? I don't know. I still haven't gone back to look at that, but I know I've been poked in the eye several times when I played. It's just part of what happens sometimes. Caitlin got a little upset, kind of pushed the other girl. Teammates come in. She's already got a target on her back, kind of bump her. She falls down. Teammates get mad. There's a couple of technical fouls. And then as the game is ending, one of Caitlin, so there's a fast break on the other team coming down. I think it was Sophie Cunningham, one of Caitlin Clark's, if I remember correctly, a teammate kind of took the girl down, wrapped. I don't know if she was trying to wrap her up, but definitely grabbed her around the neck area, head area, and then just knocked her down. Everyone kind of started pushing and shoving each other. There was some ejections. So, stuff like that, not going for the ball. Girls can get injured that way. Players can get injured that way, both guys or girls. So that's what I'm talking about. Definitely basketball is physical. There's some hard fouls. I don't mind that. And trash talking, like I said, but grabbing somebody by the neck or something, just be real careful because I don't want to see anybody get hurt. So, but with all that going back and forth, like I said, some people can say it's bad, but it just makes more people want to get in and watch the WNBA, right? Like I think viewership is up from where it's been. It's at an all-time high, I believe. I'm saying that correctly. And I know I watch it a lot. Like I said, I watch Indiana and whoever they're playing. So it's got me now watching it. It's part of my schedule. I'm looking at, okay, when's the next game? And I make sure that I'm not at home. I'm watching it on my phone. So I'm watching it. So I'm sure there's a lot of people that do the same thing. So some of this physicality and trash talking on podcasts and in the media, in some ways, kind of makes more people want to watch the WNBA. So, I mean, how bad is it, right? I think I heard something like Sophie Cunningham because she came to the aid and I didn't like what you did to my teammates. So now I'm going to do this to you. And then someone, I don't know if this is true, but it's like her jersey sales went up. And so I'm like, man, that's crazy. But that's the kind of world we live in now, right? So I don't have a problem with some of the trash talking and all that. I think that's good for the game. People want to tune in as long as it doesn't get to a point where it gets out of hand, frustration kicks in, and someone gets hurt, right? We don't want any of that. So I think the referees need to be aware of that, especially when they're playing against Caitlin Clark, because I do think there's a target on her back. So definitely, hopefully, no one will get injured. But I definitely like all that roughing and talking, man. I mean, I do because I think it makes the game more interesting for the fan to watch. But I'll say this about Caitlin, man. I love her game, man. I mean, do I think she's the best player in the WNBA now? No. Second year, she still got a lot to learn. There has been girls that have been playing the WNBA for years. She brings a lot more viewership, obviously, but there have been a lot of women before Caitlin Clark, in my opinion, that have paved the way, and we definitely can't forget that. So, is she the best player in the WNBA today? No, I don't think she is. But if she plays another 10, 13 years after her career ends, um, could she possibly be a top three of all time? Absolutely. I think she could be. We'll see how all that turns out. But the other thing I like to say is there's a lot of other girls that may not get the media attention that Caitlin Clark gets, but man, they're awesome. And that's why I want to watch all these teams because there's other girls that have worked just as hard and maybe not get the recognition or the media coverage that Caitlin gets. But I tell you, man, WNBA is full of talent. And so hopefully those girls will be mentioned as well because it's a great, great league. And like I said, I'm starting to tune into it now. So gotta have a little bit of water. But like I said, as I watch Caitlin Clark now, I'm starting to know more about the Indiana team. So I get to know her teammates and how well they are, look at their stats now, and eventually I'm already starting to look at the other teams that they play. So I look as I watch the game from start to end, I get to see other talents from the other teams. So eventually I'm going to start to become a WNBA fan once again and continue to watch it. And not just eventually just watch Caitlin and her team, but other teams as well as I get to know other players and want to watch other talents that they have as well. So just a little bit of WNBA news here, and I'll definitely we'll be talking more of the WNBA as we continue with this podcast and the NFL. So like I said, we're gonna be talking about the NFL. The NFL will be the preseason be coming around soon, so definitely gonna be talking a lot of NFL. My Dallas Cowboys, that's my team. So I'll quickly say this about the Cowboys. I was not a fan of Brian Schottenheimer. And not because I think he's going to do a bad job or a good job. I don't know much about him, right? But at the beginning, I was like, what are you doing? Like, I wanted another coach. But as I've read articles and, kind of heard some of the stuff, some of the support that he's getting, I hope that he will succeed in his role. I think it's going to be tough. And as we continue with this podcast and get further into the Dallas Cowboys, I'll talk more about the head coach, Brian Schottenheimer, give you my thoughts on his assistant coaches that he's formed together, the players, what I think is going to happen this season. I'm going to get all into that on this podcast, but I'll just start off by saying I wasn't a fan when he first got hired. Not sure that I'm a fan now, but I definitely know a little bit more about him as I've read more articles. So I definitely wish him the best. Um, maybe this is the way it needed to be. I don't know. You're taking a chance with a guy that's never been a head coach, your first gig, and then with the Dallas Cowboys, the media is always around. Jerry's always talking. I mean, I don't know how all that's going to work out, but I definitely wish him the best because that's my team and I want to see us win. Not sure that that's going to happen, but we don't know. I mean, the offense got better. Some younger offensive linemen that I think eventually could be good for us. So I like what they did there. I'm not sure how I feel about the running backs. I mean, CD Lamb, we got Pickens now. We know that they're talented. We got a great tight end. Dak Prescott is Dak Prescott. So, we've seen what he's done the last couple of years. Hasn't been able to get us to the big game. Will that change this year? I don't know. We'll talk more about that. I do like the backup quarterback. I've heard some good things about him. So listen, if Dak doesn't play good, you got a guy now that could take your spot. So how is all that going to play out? So I don't know. Defensively, we'll see how all that looks. Is Micah Parsons going to get his money? I mean, I don't know. So there's still a lot of stuff up in the air that we're definitely going to be talking about here on this podcast because Dallas Cowboys win or lose, man. I've been a fan since I was a kid, and even though they frustrate me when they don't win and some of the moves they make, that's still my team, and it's gonna be my team until I leave this earth, right? But if I was a betting man, betting $10,000, I'd probably say that we're not. If we do make the playoffs, it's gonna be one and done. Like I wouldn't bet money that we're gonna be in the NFC Championship. So I hope I'm wrong, but that's where I stand now. As I read more articles and we get more into closer to the season, we'll see if my mind changes. But right now, I definitely hope we win. But if I was a bet man, I don't know that our season is going to be any much better this year than we were last year, right? I hope I'm wrong, but there's nothing that points right now that I can see that tells me, hey, outside of Pickens, can we win? Dak hasn't been able to get us there. We've had Super Bowl coaches leading this team that couldn't get it done. So now we're going to go with a guy that's never head coach to try to win. I don't know. People say, dude, like I thought you're a Cowboy fan. I am, and I always will be. But I'm not going to sit here and say we're going to win when I don't think we are, right? Like I look at this realistically. I hope I'm wrong, but man, I'm like, I don't know. Mike McCarthy has won a Super Bowl and couldn't get the job done. So now we expect Brian Schottenheimer, who has never been a head coach, to now take us to the promised land. I hope that does happen, but I'm not betting money that it is. So just some stuff I'm throwing out there. It'll get more in depth here. And when my partner comes on, I call him my partner, but when the other half of this podcast comes on and we talk more sports, can get very, very interesting. So definitely want to tune into that. We'll also talk a little bit of the Houston Texans. And I think they have a better shot, man. They got a great coach out there. CJ Stroud's been great. So if they can stay healthy, it'd be nice to see what they do. The Shador Sanders, we'll talk a lot about that here on the podcast. Dropping down in rounds, going to Cleveland. Will he start, or are they going to start the old man Joe Flacco? Pittsburgh, Aaron Rodgers. We'll definitely touch that and get our thoughts on where we think Aaron Rodgers is. You'll get my thoughts on where I think and how I think that's going to go. And we're really going to touch on all the NFL teams. This year, love the Cowboys. I like Baltimore, but I'm really going to be rooting for Cincinnati, the Bengals. I'm a Joe Burrow fan big time, man. I love Joe Burrow. I didn't like what he did in my Texas Longhorns, but I definitely like Joe Burrow in this game. So you might even see me wear Cincinnati Bengal jersey through the podcast. I don't know. We'll see what happens. And then, of course, the Texas Longhorns college football, Arch Manning. I'm a fan. I'll definitely look for a jersey if there's one out there for Arch Manning. But definitely going to be talking a lot of Texas Longhorns. That is my favorite team. And week one, man, Ohio State. So it don't get no better. So we're definitely going to be talking about college football, NFL. So all of that on the GT Sports Pro College 2025 podcast. This was episode number 4. And like I said, in about a couple of weeks or a month, I'll be having someone joining me here on this podcast. When he joins, it will be live on here. I think we're going to go live on YouTube. So it's going to be on the GT Sports Pro College podcast on YouTube. It'll be uploaded then to the other platforms, but we're going to be going live. So I'm going to continue to pre-record, but when he joins the podcast, all of the podcasts will then go live. So hopefully you guys will tune in, jump into the conversation. Like I said, it's sports, so there's nothing that's off limits. I mean, we'll talk wrestling, we'll talk tennis, we'll talk Olympics, soccer, we'll talk whatever you want to talk. If it's sports, we'll definitely talk about it. All of that right here on GT Sports Pro College 2025 podcast. This was episode number 4. So take a look at the games, and we'll be back tomorrow. I'll be back tomorrow, and we'll talk more sports here on GT Sports Pro College Facebook page. Until then, have a great evening. Enjoy the game tonight. Hopefully the Pacers win and we have a game 7. Enjoy the rest of your night, and we'll talk to you guys tomorrow.